The pandemic and subsequent return to work had a lot of people re-examining their career options. In 2021, the term the Great Resignation was coined as people started to rethink their careers just 1 year into the pandemic. Now, there's little evidence that happened in Canada, but many companies are looking for ways to keep employees. Now, one method is called the Stay Interview. It's a regular check-in with workers to see what's working and what's not.
We're trying to get a feel for how people spend their day at work. So, if you would you walk us through a typical day for you?
The movie Office Space was a satirical dark comedy about office culture. But this particular scene was so funny because of how blunt the main character was with two people brought in to fire employees.
I just stare at my desk, but it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
If most employees were that honest, some workplaces might take measures to improve working conditions, and some are. A number of Canadian companies are using stay interviews to get feedback from their workers and learn what the company can do to retain valued team members. Labor market changes have seen employees seek better working conditions. That, coupled with a softening labor market, and a number of people believe negotiating power has tipped back in favor of employees.
The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
That's exactly the type of attitude those stay interviews are trying to prevent. Okay, it's time for our opening arguments. We have Reshmi, we have Mike as well. Mike, I saw you laughing a little bit during that segment there, but I wanted to ask you, do you think this practice makes a lot of sense?
Well, firstly, I love Office Space. Just love it. So. All right, in the words
I'm going to need you to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, PC load letter. I won't finish that one, actually. We're on national television here. But in the words of Admiral Akbar, so that's not a guy from Office Space. He's in Star Wars. But he said, it's a trap. This is a trap. Listen closely, Mike. Listen, Reshmi, I think you might agree with me here. Like, people should channel their inner Fox Mulder and trust no one, because these stay interviews are like HR initiatives to get you to reveal things to them, and they're there to serve and protect the ownership, the executives. If anyone out there is listening to me right now and is actively looking for another opportunity, hold those cards very, very close to your chest. Do not tell anyone in something they're spinning as a stay interview. It's a trap.
Wow. I'm not going to say you're a conspiracy theorist, but certainly you're trying to protect everybody out there, Mike, and we appreciate that. We do. Reshmi, what do you think about these stay interviews?
I loved them a little too much, Mike, and now I'm thinking about how I would just let it all spill out onto the table. Toronto Mike, makes a really great point in that I do believe there's a power dynamic, right? And so even if it's an HR person on the other side of the table, you are still the employee. And so, yeah, some cards should be held tight. The faith, though, that your employer is looking to keep you should be honest, and hopefully it is about retaining talent. So I do think that employers, corporations, they miss the opportunity of what could I have done to keep you here? Because most of the time, if you haven't been fired, your employer likes what you're doing, right? So when people do leave a job, there's usually that, unanswered question or that conversation that didn't get to be had. I think this creates that opportunity. And so I'm for it. I'm just not as trusting as I was before Toronto Mike spoke.
Yeah, I know. Mike really has sowed a lot of doubt for a number of us here. Okay, let's try and put some faith in the people. What have all of our viewers been saying about this online? We get your Twitter take every day, especially on this one. Do you think that more companies should be doing this? Overwhelmingly, 82.3% say yes, only 17.7%, Mike, say no. So I guess nobody else, or only 17.7% people think it's a trap out there. I did want to share one thing, because we're talking about office culture, and this is one of my favorite memes, and I think this is sort of the whole thing. Are you doing this stay interview instead of something else. And this is my favorite one, and for those who are listening to us in our podcast, it's that 4-panel cartoon of a hand that's reaching out from the ocean. It says hardworking, underpaid employees, and a manager's hand is looking to reach for it. And instead of helping pull them out, it's a high five with a pizza party. And of course, the hand just slowly sinks back into the ocean. So Mike, stay interviews instead of pizza parties? I mean, what do you think?
Oh, that's another scam in the corporate world, is the pizza parties. It's don't get me started on those. How many lunches did I work through for a couple of slices of pepperoni pizza? Like, I mean, I'll crunch the numbers later. But I don't mean to sound cynical, but I think there is a naivety out there when it comes to the role of HR in businesses. And people seem to think that, oh, they're here to protect me and to serve me, without realizing that's not at all what HR is there for. And these stay interviews really do sound like, I don't know, marketing and HR had a meeting and they said, how do we like sell our people on divulging the fact that they're looking to leave before? Because back in my day, I'm a much older person than Reshmi, but back in my day, we would go to our boss and say, I have a fantastic new opportunity. They're going to pay me $30,000 more a year. And you'd give your boss an opportunity to say either, good luck, we'll have a little cake for you at the end of the week, or we can match that. The best words in corporate world, we can match that. So that's how it used to be. You don't need a stay interview. It's nonsense.
So, Reshmi, do you think it changes that power dynamic then if you are? I mean, I know you were saying earlier on that you sort of maybe will hold a little more closer to your chest. But do you think that, you know, saying to them, well, look, on a regular basis, checking in with them and almost like a progress report, you know, saying, hey, look, you know what, I don't like this, I don't like that. But do you think that you may instead be more like Mike, more inclined like Mike to go, you know what, I'm just not going to participate?
I can appreciate why someone like Toronto Mike wouldn't participate. I think he likes to eat lasagna more than pizza anyway. I think most employees would like the opportunity for someone to say, hey, how are you doing? How are things going here? How could things improve? If the questions remain vague and then the results are the company switches to a 4-day work week because the majority of the employees they spoke to said they would really appreciate that, that's a great outcome, right? If you have someone mining for details and then putting you at the bottom of the list of when it comes to employees to keep, then that's nefarious. And I don't know if anyone working for the company would be going that far. Also, though, I would share, I do not want the job of holding those stay meetings. Could you imagine if you just kept sitting there listening to people complaining about how to improve things? And I'm sure you're not going to be able to make those improvements. So some people aren't going to get what they want. This also sounds like it replaces a union, so I'm not sure about that either. But I don't think it hurts to say, how are you doing? How can I improve things? Because I do believe that employers, especially in this labor market, are suffering when they lose employees who they've trained and spent time investing in as well, right? It's reciprocal.
Mike, just in closing, though, I wanted to ask you, you know, some of the evidence that we've seen from some of these employers say that, you know what, it's not necessarily about wanting a big promotion. Sometimes it's just about being included, you know, as somebody who goes to a conference or at least a little step up to improve their skills in other ways. So do you not agree with having a regular check-in if it's not going to be for something big?
Have people lost the ability to communicate to their boss that they would like to attend a conference? I mean, you make it sound like we need to have this formal quarterly stay interview in order to like extract that information from employee 972. Like, just why don't you tell me the name of the movie you want to see? Yeah,
a movie phone reference from Seinfeld. Toronto Mike, you are definitely coming back on the show just for that one. But on behalf of employee 972, maybe they do need those regular meetings. Okay, I think we're going to put a pin in this one for now. But don't forget, you can go on to our Twitter handle @CTV Debate. We want to make sure that you continue to have your say on this. vote. What do you think? Do we need more of these stay meetings, or are you like Mike and think that it is just a huge trap? Okay, time for a short break. But coming up on the other side of the break, is it fair to critique celebrities? That is something that I think a lot of people are always wondering. Singer Billie Eilish lashed out over the weekend because she was tired of the trolls. But do fans have the right to weigh in since these people live their lives in public? We'll talk about that right after this.